There is a stillness before great movement, a silence before the sound. And in this moment, you are standing on the edge of divine change. You have been waiting, watching, asking. But let me tell you, the shift is not ahead of you, it is happening within you. You may think it's about to come from the world, from people, from events, but it is not. The shift will begin the moment you say, "It is already done." The heavens do not respond to doubt, they respond to conviction. God does not move when you beg, He moves when you believe. He doesn't wait on your work, He waits on your willingness to accept that you are already chosen. Now's the time to stop striving and start assuming. The energy you are waiting for is the energy you must become. If you want to see overflow, you must dwell in the feeling of abundance. If you desire healing, then rest in the peace that it has already been made whole. This is not imagination. This is divine reality waiting to unfold. There are many who will miss the shift, not because God isn't moving, but because they are looking with the wrong eyes. They are watching the world, but God moves in spirit. And spirit is felt, not seen. You will feel it before you see it. You will know it in your soul before it arrives in the mail. So do not wait for the evidence. Become the evidence. Let the world adjust to your decision. Let the facts catch up to your faith. Get ready, not by preparing your hands, but by preparing your mind. The question is not when will God move. The real question is, when will you agree with what has already been set in motion? You are not meant to chase miracles. You are meant to live in the state where miracles are natural. You are not meant to ask, "Where is my breakthrough?" You are meant to declare, "I am the breakthrough." The shift is not coming to you, the shift is coming from you. When you align with it, everything else must bow. The people, the timing, the money, the healing, the clarity, it all comes because you have made a divine agreement. I will no longer live in lack. I am what I have asked for. So get ready, not because something is coming. Get ready because it's already here. God's move is not coming to reward your struggle. It's coming to honor your identity. Step into it. Feel it, dwell in it, because the shift is real and it begins now. Everything you see externally is simply the echo of what you accepted internally. The world around you is not the cause, it is the effect. It is the shadow cast by the substance of your inner state. And so when you begin to sense that something is shifting, know this: the shift is not taking place around you. It is unfolding within you. The great move of God does not begin with lightning in the sky or writing on the wall. It begins in the quiet place, in the realm of thought, of feeling, of imagination. You have been taught to look outward for signs, for proof, for validation. But all transformation begins in consciousness. Before the Red Sea parts, before the walls fall, before the blessing arrives, something has shifted in the heart, in the mind, in the soul of the one who receives it. Your assumption is the birthplace of reality. What you assume to be true, not what you hope for or wish for, but what you inwardly accept as real, becomes the framework of your world. You may not speak it aloud, you may not even admit it to yourself, but what you consistently feel to be true is what will shape the events of your life. If you live in the assumption that you are forgotten, life will echo back evidence of your invisibility. If you assume that you are blessed, chosen, and covered by divine favor, the world must conform to that inner state. This is not superstition, this is spiritual law. The great move of God is not a surprise event. It is a response to the person who finally remembers who they are. When you shift internally, when you stop looking at circumstances and begin looking from your desired reality, you realign yourself with a higher pattern. You are no longer trying to fix the world, you are being transformed and the world is following suit. What you once chased now begins to arrive. What you once struggled to find now flows naturally into your life. Why? Because you have taken your rightful place in the unseen. It's not about pretending, it's about embodying. You are not trying to trick the world, you are stepping into your divine inheritance. The moment you shift your concept of yourself, you move into a new timeline. You are no longer reacting to life, you are commanding it, not with force but with awareness. The shift that is coming isn't waiting for the economy to improve, or for people to change, or for conditions to align. The shift is waiting for you to stop doubting who you are. The greatest move of God will not be televised, it will be internalized. It will happen the moment you say, I am already where I desire to be, and the moment you live from that space, not someday, but today. Reality has no choice but to obey. The shift is not around you. It's already started within. You do not prepare for the divine by running harder, striving longer, or proving your worth through endless action. The world has conditioned you to believe that readiness is measured by how much you do, but in truth, readiness is measured by how deeply you know. You prepare not by effort, but by awareness. Not by exhausting the body, but by awakening the spirit. When you know something is already yours, you no longer scramble for it. You no longer beg or chase. You shift into a calm confidence that alters your entire state of being. That state is not passive, it is magnetic. It calls forth what matches it. The divine does not need your hustle, it requires your alignment. The move of God does not come as a reward for overworking. It comes as a response to belief. Quiet, solid, and unwavering belief. Awareness is the true invitation, not awareness of the problem or the lack or the weight, but awareness of the end already fulfilled. You must enter the state of the wish fulfilled, not someday but now. Feel it before it shows. Dwell in it before it arrives. Speak from it before the evidence appears. This is the secret. This is the readiness that causes the heavens to respond. There are those who pray and then worry. There are those who hope and then doubt. These are divided states, unstable and unfruitful. But when you decide to dwell in the knowing that it is already done, everything changes. You no longer look at time as an obstacle. You no longer use the senses to measure how close your blessing is. You enter the truth that the move has already been made within, and the outer must now comply. You cannot trick the divine by saying the right words if your heart is still heavy with fear. You cannot manifest while carrying the energy of desperation. What you hold in awareness becomes your prayer. What you accept as your identity becomes your experience. So the preparation is not to do more, but to be more. To become the person who already has it. When you shift from wanting to knowing, the entire world responds differently to you. People treat you differently. Opportunities come unexpectedly. Resources appear seemingly out of nowhere. But it's not a coincidence, it's coherence. The outer world is only obeying the inner signal you finally broadcast, without contradiction. So prepare yourself by entering the state. Live from the end, not toward it. Sit in the reality of already having, already being, already knowing. This is the true work. This is the spiritual preparation. And when you stay there long enough, not just visiting occasionally, but making it your dwelling place, the shift will be unmistakable. The world will bend, not to your words, but to your awareness. When you are truly ready, not through action, but through identity, God's move will find you. There is a sacred power in surrender, one that the striving mind struggles to understand. We are taught to push, to fight, to chase, to prove. But the divine does not move according to struggle, it moves through surrender. The moment you stop resisting, the moment you stop trying to force reality into place, you create space for the miraculous to enter. The shift that you are praying for, waiting for, working for, is not delayed by divine reluctance, it is delayed by human resistance. Resistance is not always loud. It often hides in the quiet corners of fear, doubt, and what if. It lingers in the background of your actions, even the spiritual ones. You say the words, but carry anxiety in your chest. You ask for the blessing, but still believe in the power of lack. This contradiction blocks the very thing you're reaching for. You cannot draw in what you are actively pushing away with your inattention. When you surrender, you are not giving up, you are giving in to the higher intelligence that already knows how to deliver what your heart desires. You are no longer trying to manipulate outcomes or timelines. You are resting in the truth that what is yours cannot be lost. The moment you embody the fulfillment of your desire, not in thought alone, but in feeling, you align yourself with the frequency of that which you see. Heaven does not respond to desperation, it responds to alignment. You do not manifest by convincing the divine that you are worthy. You manifest by remembering that you already are. The tension, the overthinking, the constant checking to see if things are changing, all of that comes from fear. And fear resists the flow. But when you release it, when you truly let go, you become available to receive. Letting go does not mean doing nothing. It means doing everything from a place of rest, peace, and inner confidence. It means you no longer take action to create results. You take action because you already know the result is certain. This is the shift from striving to surrender, from effort to embodiment. God moves when you are still enough to hear. The move doesn't always come with noise or spectacle. Often it comes quietly. A door opens, a connection is made, a path becomes clear. But that subtle shift will not be noticed if you are too busy fighting the process. Your resistance is like static. It blocks the signal. The promise of your life is not in danger, it has already been written. But it becomes visible when you stop standing in its way. So breathe. Loosen your grip. Stop asking when and start saying thank you. Let gratitude replace anxiety. Let peace take the place of panic. And then suddenly, and yet inevitably, the shift will arrive. Not because you forced it, but because you finally stopped resisting what was always trying to find you. Waiting for signs is the silent trap that keeps many stuck. It seems logical to look for proof before you believe, to ask for confirmation before stepping forward. But in the spiritual dimension, that order is reversed. The signs do not lead the believer leads the signs. To wait for something external to convince you is to place your power outside of yourself. It is to forget who you are. You are the sign. You are the first evidence that something is shifting. When you change your state, your feeling, your assumption, your awareness, everything around you must begin to respond, but it will not respond first. You must move first. In consciousness, in faith, in identity. That movement within becomes the signal that sends ripples through your world. And the signs you long to see will follow, just like a shadow follows the body. To live in waiting is to live in delay. Many ask, how will I know if it's working? Where's the sign? Where's the proof? But this very questioning reveals doubt, and doubt arrests the process. It's like planting a seed and then digging it up every day to see if it's growing. The harvest comes not to those who inspect, but to those who trust. Assume the move is happening now, not tomorrow, not when you see results, but now, because you have already made the shift within. You don't wait for joy to arrive, you enter into it. You don't wait for abundance to show up, you walk in it. You don't wait for healing to manifest, you embody the wholeness now. And in doing so, you become the cause. This is the reversal of worldly logic. The world says, believe it when you see it. But the law of spirit declares, you will see it when you believe it. And belief is not mental agreement. It is being. It is dwelling in the reality of the desired outcome so deeply that it becomes your truth. And the outer world must then reorganize itself to reflect that truth. The signs will follow you. You will hear the right word at the right time. A door will open without your knocking. A person will arrive with what you need. But not because you were watching for these things, because you walked as if they were already done. The world mirrors you. Not your wishes, not your words, but your state. If you truly believe something is yours, you no longer seek signs, you become them. Your peace becomes the sign, your joy becomes the sign, your lack of worry becomes the sign. You radiate the evidence before it becomes visible. This is the great secret, that you are the beginning of every sign, every confirmation, every breakthrough. Assume the reality now, and then watch as the signs follow, not as random miracles, but as natural responses to your inner decision. You move first, and everything else will follow. Faith is often misunderstood as wishful thinking or passive belief. But true faith is not idle. It is not the kind of belief that waits for something to happen. It is the bold inner knowing that what you seek has already been granted. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, and feeling is the path you walk to cross it. Without feeling, faith is incomplete. Without embodiment, belief is powerless. To live in faith is to walk in the reality of a thing before it ever shows up. It is to feel the fulfillment of your desire now, even when there is no evidence. This is not pretending. It is not imagination for the sake of fantasy. It is alignment with truth before it becomes form. It is choosing to be so sure of the promise that you live as though it's already yours. And when you do that, the world must respond, not because of magic, but because of spiritual law. You are not waiting for God to move. God has already moved. The moment the desire was placed in your heart, the path was set. But you reach the destination not through effort alone, but through feeling. Through the deep, consistent emotional conviction that what you asked for has already been delivered. This feeling becomes your prayer. This state becomes your signal. The outer world always matches the inner world. Not sometimes, always. It may take time to materialize, but once you hold the right frequency, the right emotional conviction, manifestation becomes inevitable. You cannot fake this. The universe does not respond to words alone. It responds to your essence, to your being, to what you truly believe when no one is watching. This is why you must feel the move of God before it touches the visible. If you wait until the shift is obvious, you are too late. Faith doesn't start with confirmation. It starts with decision. It starts with the courageous act of dwelling in the end before it begins. It's easy to celebrate once the doors open, but the one who walks through those doors is the one who celebrated before they even existed. Feeling is the activator. It is the language the unseen understands. When you feel it real, when you feel the joy, the peace, the confidence of your desire fulfilled, you send a signal that draws the experience to you. You become a magnet for the very thing you embody. Faith is not merely belief in a distant God. It is the conscious decision to merge with the outcome and rest in it. To feel chosen, to feel healed, to feel wealthy, to feel favored, and to let that feeling govern your steps, your choices, your posture. So if you desire to cross into the life you've seen in your spirit, do not wait. Begin now. Use the bridge of faith and walk it with the footsteps of feeling. The moment you do, the unseen must bow to your conviction. What you feel with certainty, you will manifest with clarity. Every transformation begins in silence. Before the world applauds your breakthrough, before the doors open and people recognize the change, something deep and invisible has already taken place. The divine shift does not begin with announcements or public recognition. It begins within you. It is deeply personal before it is ever public. God's move is quiet, intentional, and precise. It starts in the most sacred place, your imagination. Not the imagination of fantasy, but the holy chamber where you conceive new realities. What you choose to see in that inner room, what you feel and accept as true within yourself, becomes the seed of the shift that will one day bloom in the physical world. The mistake many make is to wait for outside change before they accept inner change. But that is not how divine law operates. You must dwell in the reality of your desire before a single person sees it. You must walk as if the change has already occurred. Speak as though it has already been fulfilled. Feel the weight of the blessing before it ever arrives. Why? Because this is how spiritual power works. What is conceived within will be born without, but it must be conceived first. The world sees the fruit, but not the root. They witness the elevation, but they do not hear the late-night prayers, the silent agreements, the sacred moments of decision. The shift coming into your life, the abundance, the healing, the restoration, the clarity, is not random. It is the result of the reality you've already chosen in secret. And the beauty of this process is that it doesn't require external permission. You do not need approval to begin believing. You do not need circumstances to validate your vision. The divine responds to conviction, not condition. The world may call it delusion, but heaven calls it faith. While others wait to see, you are called to be. Be the healed, be the blessed, do not be discouraged if the shift is invisible yet. Just because it hasn't shown up doesn't mean it hasn't started. The moment you align inwardly, the process began. The unfolding is already in motion. But just like seeds in soil, there's a time between planting and harvest. The delay is not denial, it's preparation. Stay in faith. Stay in the feeling. The divine shift will become public in its time. The world will marvel at how everything changed suddenly, not realizing that the sudden moment was preceded by quiet agreement. You chose this transformation before anyone else could see it, and because you chose it in faith, it must come to pass. So hold the vision, dwell in the reality you have claimed, feel it fully, embody it daily. God's move began the moment you said yes in the quiet, and the world will soon see what you already know. The shift is real, and it is unfolding right on time. The divine shift that is unfolding in your life is not something you chase. It is something you align with. It does not begin in your surroundings, but in your awareness. When you stop striving and start assuming, when you stop resisting and begin resting in faith, the heavens respond. You are not waiting for signs, you are the sign. You are not begging for breakthrough, you are becoming it. Every transformation begins within. Your state of being is your true preparation. The shift you feel is not a coincidence. It is confirmation that God is moving in you before He moves through you. So release the doubt, enter the feeling, and walk boldly in the unseen. The world will soon witness what you've already chosen in silence. Thank you for listening, and remember, the shift isn't coming to find you, it's coming from you. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a breath. Now listen not with your ears, but with your spirit. If you're seeing this, it's not chance. It's a calling. A whisper from the deeper self that knows everything has already shifted. Your winning season doesn't start when you see things change around you. It begins the moment you dare to feel differently within you. The world will catch up. It always does. But you must lead it, not with effort, not with struggle, but with assumption and knowing. If you've been feeling something stirring, something rising, even in the silence, that's it. That's the beginning. The world may still look the same, but you are not the same. And so nothing can stay the same for long. You are not chasing victory, you are it. The victory begins with your shift in identity. You are no longer the one who hopes. You are the one who knows. The one who assumes the feeling of the wish fulfilled and refuses to move from that sacred state. Do not ask, when will it happen? Ask instead, how deeply can I dwell in the feeling of it already done? Because this is the truth. Your life moves in the direction of your dominant assumption. So begin now, not tomorrow, not when the evidence shows up, but now, in your inner world. Begin to walk, speak, and rest as the version of you who already holds the prize. That version is real. That version is waiting. And let this be your sign, your confirmation that the tide has turned, the delays are dissolving, the waiting is over, your winning season has begun, because you have begun, and everything else is simply catching up. What you see around you is not the beginning, it is the echo. The cause is always within. The root of every experience, every condition, every turn of fate lies not outside in the world of effects, but within your own consciousness. When you fully grasp this, you stop reacting to circumstances as if they are final and begin shaping them from within with calm and confident awareness. This is the true seat of power, not in striving, but in assuming. You see, the outer world is simply a mirror. It faithfully reflects the images you hold on the screen of your mind, the feelings you dwell in, and the truths you silently affirm about yourself and your life. If there is chaos outside, it is not an enemy to be defeated. It is a messenger. It speaks the language of your own persistent assumptions. If you accept limitation inwardly, life must wear the costume of limitation. If you feel unworthy, the world will continuously confirm that belief, but when you shift the feeling, when you dare to believe something greater, everything must obey. Your winning season does not begin when money arrives, when love calls, or when the opportunity shows up. It begins when you accept within yourself that you are already one with the thing you desire, when you cease trying to get and begin to be. The moment you drop the old identity and assume the new one, even before the world has any proof, you have entered the season of winning. This is not about pretending or forcing. This is about inhabiting, living inwardly in the state of fulfillment until the world, as it always does, arranges itself to match your inner conviction. No one can see this shift but you. It happens in silence. It happens in the stillness of thought. There may be no lightning, no dramatic sign, but you will feel it. The quiet click of the soul locking into place. A subtle shift in identity. The moment you say within yourself, "This is who I am now," and feel it to be true, life responds. Not because you begged or pleaded, but because the law is always working. Consciousness is always creating. You have never lived a single moment that didn't spring from your own inner state. Do not chase after signs. Signs are secondary. They are the shadows of inner certainty. What matters most is where you dwell in imagination. What matters is what you consistently accept as true. Feel from the end, from the place where your desire is already complete, and watch how quickly the pieces begin to fall into place. This is why no external situation is hopeless. Because it has no life of its own, the moment you shift, it must shift. This is the secret the world forgets. You don't fight reality, you replace it. You assume a new state, and life bows to your new command. If you're seeing this now, it means you're ready. Ready to stop blaming and start becoming. Ready to remember that nothing stands between you and your desire except the permission you've been waiting to give yourself. The moment you accept that it is done within, your winning season has already begun. You were never waiting to be chosen, you are always the chosen one. Not because of anything you did, but because of who you are at your core. There is something within you that already knows this. It's quiet, it's not loud like fear, but it speaks with clarity and certainty. The reason this message resonates with you now is because your spirit is no longer asleep. You have remembered something the world tried to make you forget. You are already enough. You don't have to earn what is already yours. You don't have to beg for what your soul already holds. The desire you feel is not severed from you. It's not some random longing placed on your path to tease or torment you. It is the evidence that what you seek is already planted within your being, waiting only for your permission to grow. This idea that you are already chosen contradicts the noise of the world. Society tells you to prove yourself, to do more, be more, hustle harder. But your inner world, your deeper knowing, tells you the opposite. It tells you to become still, to trust, to remember that alignment, not effort, is what brings your desires to life. You don't become worthy by chasing. You reveal your worth by accepting. This is the quiet power of alignment. You don't need to qualify for the life you dream of. You only need to align with it. Alignment doesn't mean forcing yourself into a mold. It means becoming inwardly harmonious with the version of you who already has what you desire. It means relaxing into the feeling of already being that person, of already living that life. It means dropping the story that says, "I'm not ready," and replacing it with, "It's already done." The very moment you feel truth resonate in your soul, know this: it's not by accident, it's confirmation. Confirmation that your deeper self is awake and listening, that it has heard the call, and more importantly, that it has answered. You wouldn't be drawn to this message if your spirit wasn't prepared to receive it. You wouldn't feel a stirring in your heart unless the time had come to rise. This is not about arrogance or entitlement. This is about remembrance, a remembering of your divine origin, of your creative power. It's about recognizing that life doesn't happen to you, it flows from you. The moment you say yes to this truth, everything begins to shift. Because you're not hoping anymore, you're not reaching, you are knowing. And what you know to be true in the unseen must manifest in the seen. There is nothing more to wait for. You don't need a sign. This is the sign. You don't need permission. This is your permission. Your soul is not asking for proof, it's asking for faith. Not blind faith in chance, but sacred faith in the laws that govern all creation. The laws that respond to your state of being, your assumptions, your inner speech. You are already chosen, you are already called, your spirit has answered. Now walk as though it is already yours, because it is. Everything that has ever come into your life, every relationship, every opportunity, every breakthrough or setback, began first in the unseen. Before it took form, it existed in the quiet chambers of thought, in a fleeting image, a passing idea, or a deep, unshakable assumption. Imagination is not fantasy, it is not fiction. It is the blueprint of reality itself. It is the beginning of all creation. What you see today is simply the matured result of a seed once planted in your mind, and that seed was imagination. Your life follows your inner vision like a shadow follows the body. The outer world is the outpicturing of your inner state, and that state is shaped most powerfully by what you dare to imagine and believe as true. Imagination is sacred. It is not something reserved for children or dreamers detached from reality. Imagination is reality in its first stage. It is spirit beginning to move. It is your power to shape what is to come by dwelling in what already is within. Every great life, every transformation, every miracle began first in the unseen realm. It began with a mind that dared to see beyond current circumstances and feel something greater into being. Your winning season begins the moment you turn inward and assume the feeling of what you desire already being yours. Not when others approve, not when the conditions are right, but the moment you close your eyes and allow yourself to see what your heart has been whispering. When you feel it so vividly that your senses almost mistake it for fact, you have entered creation. You are not here to observe life, you are here to generate it. From the inside out, you are not the echo, you are the sound. You are not the product of your past, you are the author of your now. And imagination is your pen. What you vividly assume in your imagination and accept as your inner truth begins to take shape around you. This is not about forcing or pretending, it is about aligning with your true creative power. When you imagine something with clarity and feel it to be yours with conviction, you begin to impress that state onto your subconscious mind. And once impressed, it must be expressed. Life has no choice but to conform to the patterns you consistently imagine and accept. You can test this. Begin with a small assumption, something simple but clear. Imagine yourself receiving good news. Feel the emotion of it, hear the words, smile as though it just happened, and then let it go. Move through your day knowing it is done. You will soon see that reality bends to your inner world. The truth is, you are always imagining something. The question is, are you imagining deliberately or by default? Are you using your imagination to build or to worry, to create or to repeat the past? The power is yours, always has been. Your winning season has already begun the moment you step into imagination and declare, "This is who I am now." Not by force, but by feeling. Because once it's real in you, the world has no choice. It must reflect what you are. There is no power in the clock unless you give it power. Time, as the world understands it, is an illusion, a construct designed to measure movement, not meaning. Your life is not dictated by days, weeks, or years. It is shaped by states, by inner convictions, by what you dare to accept as true now. Detach from the tyranny of time and return to your true authority, the knowing within you that does not wait, but declares. You are not meant to chase after the future, always hoping that one day things will fall into place, that one day you'll be ready, that one day you feel whole. The truth is simpler and more profound. Your winning season begins the very moment you say it does. Not when the evidence appears, not when people approve, not when conditions seem perfect, but the moment you decide to anchor yourself in the unseen truth of what already is. This is the secret the world forgets. Reality responds not to time, but to your assumption of being. The moment you drop the need to measure, to wait, to strive, and instead assume, quietly, boldly, that your desire is already fulfilled, you transcend the clock. You step into the eternal now, where all creation begins. From this space, all things flow. The world may say, "Look around, it hasn't happened yet," but that voice is the echo of delay. You must answer with deeper truth. It has already happened within me. That knowing is your anchor. It is not forced. It is not frantic. It is still. It is the gentle, immovable certainty that does not waver in the face of appearances. Because you are no longer moved by appearances. You are moved by what you know. And knowing is not the same as hoping. Knowing is not wishing. It is the quiet state of fulfillment where you no longer ask when, because your spirit has already said now. You don't beg for what is yours, you accept it. You wear it inwardly, you walk as though it is done. And because life mirrors your internal state, the outer world must eventually bow to your assumption. This is why time can no longer be your master, it can no longer be your excuse. You do not grow into your power with age, you awaken to it through recognition. The moment you know you are already whole, already worthy, already chosen, the clock loses its grip. You are no longer in waiting, you are in becoming. And becoming does not take time, it takes acceptance. Detached from the appearance of delay, detached from the illusion that you are running out of time. The divine knows no deadlines. The soul operates in now. What you choose to embody within you today, you bring forth into form without effort. You don't have to figure out how, you only have to know that it is already yours in spirit. Your winning season isn't ahead of you. It's here, because you say so, because you believe, because you dare to trust what is unseen more than what is visible. And once you anchor in that knowing, time bends, doors open, and the world rearranges itself to match what you already hold within. Creation begins not when the world gives you a sign, but when you give yourself permission to feel as though it is already done. This is the hidden doorway to manifestation, not reaching toward the end, but embodying the end, now. Not waiting for your desire to appear in the physical, but assuming the state of the one who already has it. That is not delusion. That is the highest form of faith. That is how you create. To embody the end is to walk as the version of you who has already received the answered prayer. It is not performance. It is identification. It is shifting your inner identity to match the life you desire. It is moving out of hoping and into knowing, out of trying and into being, because all manifestation flows from being, not from effort, not from struggle, but from the silent power of assumption. The moment you accept a new state as your truth, everything within you begins to rearrange. Your thoughts change, your feelings shift, your posture, your tone. All of it rises to meet the reality you've accepted. And because the outer world must mirror the inner world, your environment responds in kind. This is not imagination for escape, it is imagination for embodiment. And embodiment is what gives imagination power. You cannot consistently think, feel, and act from a state and not eventually live in it. That is a law, one so simple that it's often overlooked. Most people wait for change to show up in their bank account, in their relationship, in their body, before they allow themselves to feel different. But that is not creation, that is reaction. You are not here to react, you are here to create. And creation begins by stepping into the end before the beginning makes sense. To feel wealthy before the money arrives, to feel loved before the person comes, to feel healthy before the healing is visible, this is not foolishness. This is the path of the one who understands how reality unfolds. You must become the one who already has it, even when there is no evidence to support it, especially then, because that is the test. That is where your faith sharpens into power. When you embody the end, you are not pretending, you are selecting. You are choosing the version of you who exists in the state of fulfillment, and by dwelling in that version, you collapse the distance between desire and manifestation. You no longer beg, you no longer wait. You live as though it is done, and because you do, it must become visible. Creation is finished. Every outcome, every possibility already exists. Your role is not to force it into being. Your role is to align with the version of yourself who already lives it. Embodiment is the key. Speak the way you would speak if it were true. Walk the way you would walk if you had already received it. Think from the outcome. Feel from the end. And persist. Life must follow your lead. It must take shape around the version of you that you consistently embody. So do not ask if it's coming. Declare that it is here. Not later, not one day, now, because once you live from the end in your imagination, the rest is inevitable. The principle is absolute. Signs follow, they do not precede. The outer world is not the initiator, it is the echo. The effect, the mirror. And to live a life governed by appearances, waiting for evidence before adopting belief, is to place yourself perpetually behind the creative current. You must reverse that order. You must lead with belief and let the signs come in their proper time and sequence. To wait for proof before allowing yourself to believe is to forfeit your true power. Proof is nothing but the crystallization of inner conviction. It is not the cause, it is the result. When you believe without evidence, you are not deluding yourself. You are aligning with the higher laws of creation. Every great transformation in history, whether in the life of an individual or the arc of civilization, began not with outer validation, but with inward certainty. Belief is causative. It generates motion in unseen realms. Thought and feeling, properly harmonized, form a state of consciousness that compels outer reality to conform. The world around you is structured by what you consistently accept as true, whether or not it has yet appeared in tangible form. This is not idealism. This is the law of correspondence. As within, so without. Too many live in reaction to the external, blind to the fact that their environment is simply a delayed photograph of former inner states. What you see today is old news. The present moment as you experience it outwardly is nothing more than the harvest of past assumptions. And so if you wish to see a new reality, you must first plant new assumptions. You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not because it is evident, but because you have chosen it. This is the mark of true mastery, to believe when there is no reason to according to the senses, to walk in certainty while the world remains unchanged, to refuse to consult with conditions and instead to consult only with your inner vision. You must be unwavering. You must believe so fully that your belief becomes fact to you, and in time to everyone else. Faith is not passive, it is generative. It sends out a frequency, a pattern of vibration that must return to you in kind the moment you inhabit a state in imagination. Feeling it, embodying it, assuming it as your reality, the unseen begins to organize itself. And the signs, they will come. But not to convince you, they arrive because you have already convinced yourself. This is why the instruction is clear. Do not seek signs to believe. Believe and signs will flow effortlessly to confirm what you have already accepted. They will chase you not because you need them, but because reality must comply with your internal blueprint. Signs are not instruction, they are reflection. To chase signs is to misunderstand their role. You are the source. You are the one who initiates the movement. Your belief is the genesis, and once that belief is solidified, reality becomes obedient. Shadows never precede the body that casts them, and signs never precede the belief that produces them. Let your faith go before you, and the world will follow. If you're seeing this, then hear it clearly. Your winning season has already begun, not because the world told you so, but because something within you has awakened to it. The shift has started in your consciousness, and that is the only place anything ever truly begins. You are not here to chase proof, beg for permission, or wait for signs. You are here to declare, to assume, to embody, to know within yourself that what you seek is already yours. You have been chosen by your own awareness, and the moment you believed, truly believed, that it was possible, reality had no choice but to follow. Imagination is not idle fantasy. It is the first act of creation. And when you live from the end, when you think and feel and walk as though it's done, it must show itself in form. This is the law. So let go of the clock. Let go of appearances. Let go of needing anyone to confirm what you already know. Trust what stirs inside you. Trust the unseen. Trust that what you feel is real because it is. Let signs come in their season, but never make your faith wait on them. You are the cause. You are the proof. You are the one who commands the shift. Stand firm in your knowing. Speak from fulfillment. Move as the version of you who has already arrived. Because, in truth, you have. Thank you. You did not stumble upon this by mistake. Nothing in your world shows up uninvited. This very moment, this message, is the echo of something you have already accepted within. If you see this, it is your time to win. You have cried, hoped, doubted, and still held on. And now the answer arrives not from outside, but from within you. For nothing can appear in your world unless it first finds residence in your imagination. There are no coincidences here. The reason this message finds you now is because your consciousness is finally ripe. You no longer need to chase, beg, or plead. You need only assume. Assume that what you desire is already yours. Assume that the victory is not ahead, but here, now, within it. When you assume the feeling of already having, the world conforms. Not instantly always, but certainly. You don't need to see proof before you believe. That is the old way. You believe, and then it must be seen. You win the moment you feel you've won. So many wait for signs, but signs follow, they do not lead. This message isn't the cause of your win. You are the cause, and this message is the effect. It appears now because you have awakened, you have believed just enough, imagined just enough to summon your own reminder. Let this moment be your turning point. Walk in the certainty that it's already done. Let go of time and feel the state of being victorious. It's already yours. Act from it, speak from it, sleep in it, dwell in the state of I am, not I will be. You don't win later. You win now. Because if you can see this, really see this, then you're ready to claim it. And so, I tell you again, if you see this, it's your time to win. If this message has reached your eyes, understand that it is not a matter of luck, chance, or accident. Nothing in this life happens randomly, not even the smallest moment. You are not a passive observer in a chaotic world. You are the one who invites, who calls, who attracts everything into your experience through the quiet power of your awareness. There is a law at work in your life, whether you are conscious of it or not. And this law is simple. Whatever you are aware of being, you will become. Your world will always mirror what you accept as true in the stillness of your inner mind. So, if you're reading these words, it's because some deeper part of you already knew the truth they contain. It's not a discovery, it's a remembrance. You see, your awareness is like a magnet. It draws into your field the images, the people, the signs, and the words that echo your dominant state of consciousness. The moment you shift inwardly, just slightly, your external world begins to reassemble itself to reflect that change. That is why this message appeared when it did, not a second too soon, not a moment too late, because your inner being is always speaking, always directing, always selecting what you see based on what you are ready to accept. Awareness is not passive, it is power. The power that designs and builds every condition you walk through. You are not here merely to observe your circumstances, but to understand that they are flowing out from you, formed and shaped by the assumptions you carry within. And when your awareness changes, your entire reality must follow. The outer must submit to the inner. This is not a theory, it is a law. So ask yourself, what is it in you that brought this moment into being? What is it that made these words cross your path now and not before? It is not the words that are magical, it is you. It is your growing awareness, your subtle, quiet awakening to your true nature that called this into view. When you begin to awaken, the world changes its face. What once seemed distant, unreachable, or impossible now feels familiar, as though it had always belonged to you. And that is the truth. Nothing is kept from you. It only waits for your recognition. It waits for your consciousness to say, "This is mine. I accept this as true." This message is not here to convince you. It is here to reflect you. It is here to say, yes, your inner shift has already occurred. Yes, your desire has already been heard. Yes, the world is responding. And you need do nothing more than stay aware, stay faithful to that which you now know. So take this moment not as a coincidence, but as confirmation. You saw this because something in you changed. You saw this because your awareness called it forth. And now that it has appeared, it will not return void. It will fulfill what you have believed, quietly, faithfully, and completely. Life is not something that happens to you like a random storm blowing through your existence. It is not a series of uncontrollable events imposed on you by fate, luck, or circumstance. Instead, life happens through you. You are not a helpless victim swept along by external forces. You are the powerful originator, the unseen cause behind every effect that appears in your world this moment. The very instant you are experiencing now is proof of your creative power. It is a living confirmation that you are the master artist, painting your reality with the brushstrokes of your imagination, your feelings and your beliefs. Every thought you hold, every emotion you nurture, and every mental image you dwell upon is the invisible seed from which your outer world grows. Understand this deeply. You are the cause, not the effect. The circumstances you face, the people you meet, the opportunities you encounter, all are manifestations that flow out from the fertile soil of your inner consciousness. When you believe that life happens to you, you give your power away and become a mere passenger on a journey dictated by others. But when you awaken to the truth that life happens through you, you reclaim your throne as the sovereign creator of your destiny. Your mind is the fertile ground where your future is planted. It may feel at times as if the external world is solid, immovable, and independent of your will, but appearances are deceiving. The world you perceive is a reflection of your inner state. Change your assumptions, and your entire experience begins to shift accordingly. This is not a theory, it is the natural law of consciousness at work. Look back on your life and recognize the moments when you succeeded, when you overcame obstacles, or when joy and peace flooded your being. None of these victories were accidents or coincidences. They were direct results of the images and beliefs you held in your mind, whether consciously or unconsciously. When you hold a clear, confident vision of your success, you activate the unseen forces that bring that vision into form. This moment is your invitation to step fully into that truth. It asks you to stop blaming circumstances, other people, or the world itself for your current situation. Instead, see yourself as the originating power behind everything you experience. The good, the bad, the challenges, and the triumphs. All of it is flowing through you because you have allowed it to be. Victory is not something to be chased outside of yourself. It is a state to be assumed within. You do not wait for conditions to become favorable. You become favorable. You do not hope for success to find you. You find it by embodying the consciousness of success right now. This is the true meaning of being the cause and not the effect. In claiming this power, you take responsibility for your life. Responsibility is not a burden, it is freedom. Freedom to create what you desire, freedom to choose your thoughts, freedom to shape your world by what you believe and feel. This moment confirms that you have stepped into your role as the conscious creator of your reality, no longer a victim, but a victor. Embrace this awareness. Live from this place. Your life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. And that means your victory is already on its way. Imagination is the invisible blueprint from which every reality is born. Before anything takes shape in the physical world, it first exists in the unseen realms of your mind. Whatever you vividly imagine, whatever scenes you replay in your consciousness with feeling and detail, is already planted like a seed within the fertile soil of reality. This is not a metaphor, but a fundamental truth. Imagination precedes reality. When you allow yourself to clearly see and deeply feel the experience you desire, you are not merely dreaming or wishing, you are actively creating. Your imagination is the workshop where your future is crafted. Every successful person, every great invention, every moment of joy and achievement began as an idea in someone's mind, a vision held with such intensity and inevitability that it moved from possibility into inevitability. This means that the quality of your imagination matters more than you might realize. It is not enough to casually think about what you want. The imagination must be vivid, detailed, and saturated with feeling. When you see yourself living your victory, hear the sounds, feel the emotions, smell the surroundings, even taste the sweetness of success, you are giving birth to a reality that must come forth. The more real it feels inside, the stronger its hold on the unseen realm, and the faster it begins to manifest outside of you. Seeing this message right now is a confirmation that your imagination has done its part. It means that somewhere deep inside, you have already envisioned the victory you seek. This message is not random. It is a sign that the harvest is near. The seed you planted long ago, through your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, is ripening and about to show itself in your world. Many wait for the outside world to change before they allow themselves to feel successful, to believe in their dreams, or to act with confidence. But this is putting the cart before the horse. The order is always the same. First, the seed is planted in imagination, then it grows silently beneath the surface, and only then does it emerge as visible reality. Your job is to tend to your inner garden with care and faith, trusting that what you have imagined is taking form, even when you cannot yet see it. As when is your kitchen, your arm room, your bedroom. This is why feelings are so crucial. They are the water and sunlight of your mental seed. Without feeling, imagination remains lifeless, like a blueprint without a builder. But when you feel the emotions of having already arrived, joy, gratitude, peace, you breathe life into your vision and accelerate its unfolding. Reality is a mirror reflecting your inner state. What you imagine and feel now shapes what will appear before your eyes tomorrow. The fact that you see this message means your internal landscape has shifted toward the victory you seek. It means the unseen process of creation is well underway. So hold your vision firmly. Keep your imagination alive and rich with feeling. Know that your desired reality is not a distant dream, but a present unfolding. The harvest you have worked for, the victory you have imagined with such clarity, is not a question of if but when. And the when is very soon, because imagination always precedes reality, and your imagination has already spoken. Right now, at this very moment, I invite you to step into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, Do not wait for the world outside to validate your dreams or prove your success. The true power lies not in the external circumstances, but in your inner state. The feeling that you are already where you desire to be, that you have already achieved what you seek. This is the secret that transforms dreams into reality. To assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled means to embody it completely, to live and breathe the sensation of having what you want as if it is already yours. It is not a distant hope or a future possibility. It is a present reality within your imagination and emotions. When you feel your success inwardly, you align your consciousness with the outcome you desire. This alignment sets in motion the unseen forces that bring your inner state into manifestation. Many people wait for external signs, proof that their wish is coming true, before they allow themselves to feel victorious. But this waiting is a delay. The outer world is always responding to the inner world, not the other way around. You do not need to see the evidence first, you must feel the reality first. Your inner feeling is the cause, and the external evidence is the effect. Imagine for a moment that your desire has already been fulfilled. What does that feel like? Is there a sense of peace, a surge of joy, confidence, pride, relief? Hold on to that feeling. Let it fill every part of your being. Let it color your thoughts and shape your expectations. This is your new reality, not in the distant future, but in this moment. When you consistently assume this feeling, your mind and heart become a magnet for the conditions, people, and events that match it. You begin to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. Your decisions become clearer because they are rooted in the certainty of your fulfilled desire. You carry yourself differently, with a quiet confidence that radiates out and influences everything around you. Radiation is this: thought creates everything. And this is not about pretending or wishful thinking. It is about embracing a higher truth, that your inner feeling is the creative force behind your life. The world outside is a reflection of what you hold inside. When your inner world changes, your outer world must follow. So let go of doubt and impatience. Do not seek confirmation from the outside before you feel the success inside. Instead, cultivate the feeling that your wish is already fulfilled, and watch as the world rearranges itself to match your state of consciousness. This feeling is the bridge between desire and reality. Walk across it with faith, and your victory will be inevitable. The key is to embody this feeling consistently, especially in moments when the outer world seems silent or resistant. Persistence in feeling your fulfilled wish is the unwavering faith that moves mountains. It is the inner confirmation that you are already victorious. Regardless of what the senses report, right now assume the feeling of your success. Let it become your truth. When you do this, you activate the natural law of manifestation, and nothing can stand in the way of your fulfillment. Your wish is already done within you. Now let your feelings announce it to the world. You see this message now because you are ready now. It did not come yesterday, and it will not wait until tomorrow. The appointed time, the perfect moment when your desires begin to unfold, is always the moment you accept it within yourself. Divine timing is not some distant clock ticking outside of you. It is the natural alignment of your inner readiness with the flow of creation. Too often we look to the external world, waiting for the stars to align or for circumstances to become favorable before we believe we can move forward. We imagine that there is a special date, a perfect season, or a lucky break that will suddenly unlock our dreams. But this is an illusion born from a limited perception of time. The truth is, the universe does not operate on our schedules. It responds to the readiness of your mind and heart. When your inner world shifts, the outer world follows in perfect harmony. The appointed time is not something you wait for outside yourself. It is something you activate within. The moment you are willing to receive, The moment you say yes to your dreams and accept them as already yours, you set divine timing into motion. You become the conductor of the orchestra, not a spectator waiting for the music to start. This readiness is not about rushing or forcing events to happen. It is about cultivating a state of being where resistance melts away and trust replaces doubt. It is the deep inner knowing that your desires are not separate from you, but already part of the unfolding reality. This knowing opens the door for the universe to deliver with ease and grace. Recognize that your past doubts, delays, and frustrations were not failures. They were preparations. They were the process of bringing your consciousness into alignment with what you truly want. Now that you have arrived at this moment of acceptance, divine timing can no longer be delayed. It responds to the clarity of your intention and the sincerity of your readiness. Many miss this truth because they believe timing is out of their control. They wait for external validation, for signs and signals that confirm their path. But these external signs are reflections of your internal state. When you accept your victory inwardly, those signs appear effortlessly and naturally. The appointed time becomes visible through your changed perception. Your readiness is a signal that you have done the inner work, whether consciously or unconsciously. You have shifted your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs to match the reality you desire. This shift activates the flow of blessings, opportunities, and synchronicities that move you closer to your goal. The universe conspires with you, not against you, when you are truly ready. So do not doubt or hesitate. If you see this message, it is because you are prepared. The moment is now. Accept it fully. Embrace the power of your readiness as the key that unlocks the door to your dreams. Let go of waiting, of questioning, of resistance. Step into the flow of divine timing, knowing that what you desire is already on its way. The appointed time is not a future event. It is the present moment you decide to claim. Your readiness ignites the spark that sets everything in motion. Trust this truth and watch as your life unfolds with perfect timing, perfect purpose, and perfect grace. This message you see now is not a signal that the door to your victory is finally opening after a long wait. Rather, it is a gentle reminder, a profound truth, that the door was never shut in the first place. The barrier you may have perceived, the obstacles that seem to block your path, were illusions created by doubt, fear, or misunderstanding. The doorway to your success, to your fulfillment, has always stood wide open, waiting for you to walk through with confidence. Too often we believe that we must first overcome insurmountable challenges, prove ourselves worthy, or wait for the perfect moment before we can claim what is ours. But these beliefs are traps that keep us stuck in a state of waiting and hoping. The reality is far simpler and more empowering. Your victory is your birthright. It is not something you earn or gain after endless struggle. It is something you were always meant to embody. When you realize the door was never closed, you free yourself from the chains of limitation. You stop looking for external permission or signs to move forward. Instead, you recognize that the power to win has been within you all along. This is a shift in consciousness that changes everything. No longer do you see yourself as a struggler outside of success, but as a victor stepping into what was always yours. The challenges you faced were not walls but illusions, temporary veils that clouded your vision. They tested your faith, stretched your patience, and refined your understanding of who you truly are. But now that these veils are lifted, you see clearly. The door stands open, the path is clear, and the victory is yours to claim. There is no waiting line, no final obstacle, only the invitation to step boldly forward. Walk with confidence, knowing that you were created to win. Your existence is an expression of triumph. The universe conspires in your favor when you embody this truth. Doubt and fear lose their power because they are based on the false idea of separation and lack. When you remember that the door was never closed, you reconnect with the endless flow of abundance, opportunity, and success that is your natural state. This moment is your call to action, not to push harder against resistance, but to relax into the knowing that you are already on the winning side. You have always belonged here. Your efforts, your dreams, your desires have already set the wheels in motion. The open door is your invitation to move beyond hesitation and claim your victory fully. Do not look back or wonder if you miss something. The door has been opened, welcoming you with every breath you take. The only thing that kept you from stepping through was the story you told yourself. Now, release that story. Replace it with the truth of your innate power and divine right to succeed. So walk boldly into your victory. Step through the open door with certainty and grace. Embrace the truth that you were always meant to win. The universe smiles upon you because you have remembered who you are. The path is clear, the door is open, and your victory awaits you. Claim it now with courage and joy. In conclusion, remember this profound truth. Your victory is not something distant or uncertain. It has always been within you, waiting for you to recognize it, feel it, and claim it. The door to your success was never closed. Your imagination has already planted the seed of your reality. Your inner readiness has aligned with divine timing. And the feeling of your fulfilled wish is the power that shapes your world. Trust in yourself and in this perfect moment. Walk boldly forward, knowing that you were always meant to win. Thank you for opening your heart and mind to these words. May they inspire you to embrace your greatness and step confidently into the success that is rightfully yours. There are no accidents in this life. If you have found yourself drawn to these words, it is because something within you already knows. You are not meant to struggle. You are meant to create, to manifest, to rule. Lesson 1. Wealth begins in the unseen. You must not seek to be wealthy. That seeking implies it is far from you. Instead, become it within. Close your eyes, feel the luxury, smell the success. Walk through the corridors of your mansion in your mind. That mansion exists now in consciousness, and soon the world will reveal it. Lesson 2. Imagination is the architect of destiny. A man may toil for years and never rise. Yet another man, quiet in his room, dares to believe himself a millionaire and finds the world yielding to that bold belief. What you dare to claim in imagination with feeling, you shall experience in fact. Lesson 3. Your desires are not foolish, they are sacred. If the thought of wealth excites you, if luxury whispers your name, it is not vanity. It is a message. It is already yours in the realm of the unseen. You are only being called to accept it, not with begging, not with struggle, but with a calm and steady knowing. Lesson 4. Assume the end. Do not wait to feel rich until you see riches. That is the long road, and it rarely leads home. Instead, act now in consciousness. Sit as the millionaire. Dress as the millionaire in attitude and thought. Let your inner dialogue reflect it. I have more than enough. I always attract wealth. Everything flows to me. Lesson 5. The senses will lie to you. They will say, you're broke, you're behind, it's not working. But remember, what you now see is simply the echo of old thinking. Do not react. Do not panic. Instead, return to your imagination. Reassume the wealth. Reclaim your throne. And when doubt visits you, as it surely will, remember this: the one who persists in belief, regardless of appearances, is the one who bends the world. You were not born to live under the shadow of fear and lack. You were born to reveal the power of thought, the glory of assumption, the truth that you and your world are one. The world is waiting for the millionaire version of you to step forward, not by chance, but by conscious creation. Speak it, feel it, live it, and it shall be so. The world you move through each day, the people you meet, the circumstances you call real, all of it mirrors the invisible state you carry within. Most believe the world acts upon them, shaping their fate through outside forces. But the truth is far more powerful and far more personal. You are the cause of all that appears in your life. What you accept as true within yourself, quietly, persistently, and with feeling, forms the patterns that appear in your external world. Your bank account, your job, the opportunities or limitations you perceive are not permanent fixtures of fate. They are reflections of consciousness. They bend and shift according to the state you consistently occupy. To become wealthy, you must first stop chasing wealth as something outside of you. Stop thinking it lives in other people's hands, behind locked doors, or far off in a future that never arrives. Instead, turn within. Wealth is a state of mind, and like any state, it can be entered at will. When you change your inner assumptions, the outer world cannot help but reflect that shift. You must begin by imagining yourself as already possessing that which you seek. Feel the freedom, the ease, the quiet confidence of being wealthy. Not as something you hope will happen one day, but as something already true now. Dwell in that state mentally, even while your senses show you the opposite. This is the great test, and this is also the secret. The world does not lead, it follows. Most people think they must work harder, struggle more, hustle endlessly, and maybe, just maybe, they'll arrive at success. But effort without consciousness leads only to more effort. Real transformation begins when you assume the end. When you mentally claim yourself to be what you wish to express, life rearranges to support your inner identity. And so, if you continue to identify as someone who is lacking, who is trying, who is hoping but unsure, then lack, struggle, and uncertainty will reflect back at you in countless forms. But if you stand firmly in the feeling of already being rich, already being supported, already being powerful, then the world begins to match that energy. Ideas flow, people appear, opportunities rise where none existed before. Understand this deeply. Your life is not responding to your wishes, it is responding to your assumptions. Wishes are passive, assumptions are active. To assume wealth is to make no room for its opposite. It is not arrogance, it is alignment. You no longer beg for change, you become the change. This shift doesn't require anyone's permission. You don't need more credentials, another degree, or the approval of society. You only need to take responsibility for your inner world. Cultivate the thoughts, the feelings, and the images of the life you desire. Live from them inwardly, and soon life will mirror them outwardly. You are not here to observe reality, you are here to create it. Begin today by asking yourself, if I were already the millionaire version of me, how would I think? How would I feel? What would I silently believe about myself? For those answers, enter that state, persist in it, and let the world reveal what was always yours to claim. Imagination is not a mere escape or idle fantasy. It is the divine creative force within you. Everything you see in this world that is made by man, every building, every business, every invention, was once invisible. It lived first in the unseen, shaped by thought and nourished by belief. Before wealth ever shows itself in numbers, possessions, or opportunities, it must exist vividly in the imagination. What you imagine with feeling and consistency becomes the pattern your life begins to follow. The subconscious mind does not question the reality of your imaginal acts. It simply accepts them and begins to arrange circumstances to match what you have inwardly accepted as true. This is the beginning of all abundance, not effort, not struggle, but the quiet, powerful act of imagination. Most people only use their imagination to relive the past or fear the future. They imagine debt, rejection, limitation, and failure, and then are surprised when life delivers exactly that. But when you deliberately direct your imagination, when you choose to feel yourself already rich, already thriving, already blessed, you are planting the seeds of wealth in the most fertile ground there is, your consciousness. Riches are not created by willpower alone. You cannot force wealth to appear by brute force or endless action. You must first see yourself as wealthy in your mind's eye, not occasionally, not in bursts of desperation, but consistently, gently, and with conviction. If you can hold the image of yourself as successful, if you can feel it, dwell in it, believe it, it must externalize. This is not wishful thinking, this is the law of consciousness. That which you occupy within, the state you return to again and again, becomes your reality. You cannot imagine poverty all day and expect wealth to arrive. Nor can you see yourself as a victim and expect to feel victorious. The outer world is shaped not by chance, but by the persistent images you hold within. To become rich, you must first see yourself rich, not as a distant possibility, but as a present fact. You must become emotionally acquainted with the feeling of freedom, of choice, of overflow. Picture yourself walking into the finest spaces. See yourself making decisions from abundance, not fear. Hear others speak to you as one who has made it. Let the sounds, sights, and sensations of wealth fill your mind until they become more real to you than your current condition. There is no limit to what your imagination can produce. If you use it wisely, lovingly, and deliberately, it will lead you to doors you could never have found through effort alone. You will meet the right people, the right ideas will flow, money will come, not because you chased it, but because you became a magnet for it through your inner alignment. Persistence is the key. Do not be discouraged if nothing changes at first. The world must take time to reshape itself around the new image you have given it. Keep imagining, keep believing. Hold the vision and let the outer form catch up. You're not meant to scrape by. You are meant to create. And imagination is the tool. Use it, and abundance must follow. Desire is not something to be ashamed of, nor is it something to suppress or ignore. It is a whisper from the deeper part of your being, calling you to remember who you truly are. When a desire rises within you, strong, persistent, and full of feeling, it is not a product of chance. It is not a fleeting wish. It is a divine signal, a seed planted by your higher self, revealing what is already yours in the unseen. So many are taught to doubt their desires, to treat them as unrealistic, selfish, or impossible. They are told to be practical, to settle for less, to fear wanting too much. But the truth is, if you were not meant to have the desire, it would not have been born in you. You could not feel longing for something that does not in some dimension already exist for you. It is your awareness of what is waiting. A true desire carries its own confirmation. It does not come from outside influence or fleeting emotion. It burns quietly, steadily, deeply. It is your spirit's way of reminding you of your potential, your path, your purpose. You do not need to force it. You do not need to prove yourself worthy of it. You simply need to honor it, to listen, and to allow it to unfold. Desire is sacred. It is creative energy in motion. When you feel a desire, you are being shown a reality that already exists in the invisible. Your task is not to make it happen through strain, but to align yourself with it through faith and inner acceptance. The moment you claim your desire as already true in consciousness, you step into the version of yourself that matches it. You must stop treating your desire as something far away. Stop believing it is something you must earn, beg for, or chase. The desire itself is the evidence of its fulfillment. It is not a temptation or a test. It is a glimpse into what is already yours by right of consciousness. That's why it feels so alive, so real, so magnetic. It's calling you home. The world may try to talk you out of your desires. People may say it's too big, too risky, too unrealistic. But they cannot see what you see. They do not feel what you feel. That desire was not given to them. It was given to you, and you must protect it like a flame in the wind. Nurture it with thought. Feed it with imagination. Clothe it in the feeling of fulfillment. Let yourself dream. Let yourself feel the joy of its fulfillment now. Not someday, now. That feeling, that inner conviction, is what brings it into form. Do not confuse waiting with faith. Faith acts now. Faith feels now. Faith knows now. You are not wrong to want more. You are not greedy to desire beauty, freedom, wealth, love, or success. You are simply remembering what your soul already knows. It is yours, and your job is not to question the desire, but to step into it, to live from it, to breathe it in until the world cannot help but reveal it. When you honor your desires, you honor the divine voice within you, and that voice will never lead you astray. Most people spend their lives chasing what they want, running after dreams as though they are always just out of reach. But this constant striving, this feeling of separation from the goal, keeps it away. The secret is not in the chase. It is in the assumption. You must live from the end, not work endlessly toward it. You must think, feel, and act as though the thing you desire is already yours. Because once you occupy the state of the wish fulfilled, the journey begins to rearrange itself in your favor. This is not about pretending or playing games with your mind. It is about shifting your inner stance from lack to fulfillment, from longing to having. If you desire wealth, then mentally dwell in the feeling of already being wealthy. Let that feeling become natural to you. Stop measuring time and progress. Stop asking, where is it? And begin knowing it is done. When you live from the end, you stop begging the world to give you what you want. You stop acting like someone who is trying to become rich, and instead you become someone who simply is rich in consciousness. That inner shift creates outer results. The world is a mirror, and it reflects not what you wish for, but what you assume to be true. Living toward the end is filled with struggle, always trying to close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. But that gap only exists in the mind. There is no real distance between you and your desire, only the state you choose to occupy. When you enter the state of already having, the universe begins to move in ways you cannot predict or control. People, ideas, and circumstances arise often effortlessly to support the new identity you've claimed. Many think that if they act as though they are wealthy now, they will become irresponsible or delusional. But living from the end is not about reckless behavior. It is about alignment. You no longer make decisions based on fear or desperation. You think clearly, speak confidently, and act from a place of abundance. This clarity draws the right results to you with far less effort than striving ever could. The end must contain the means. This is a profound truth. If you fully accept that you already have what you want, the path to it must unfold. the means to your goal, are included in the assumption of the goal's reality. You do not need to figure out every detail. You do not need to control the process. You need only remain faithful to the end. When doubt arises, return to the feeling. When fear creeps in, return to the state. This is the discipline, to hold the end in mind, regardless of appearances. Feel what it would be like if you already had the money, the success, the freedom. Let that feeling saturate your mind and body until it becomes your new normal. The moment you truly live from the end, everything changes. Not because you forced it, but because you became it. You don't become rich by chasing wealth. You become rich by knowing that wealth is already yours. Let the world conform. It always does. Second, you ask, the world you see around you is not the cause, it is the effect. It is the result of your previous states of consciousness, your past assumptions and long-held beliefs. It is old news. What you are experiencing now is merely the echo of who you were. If you want to create something new, especially wealth, you must learn to ignore the evidence of your senses when it contradicts your vision. This is the test of true faith. Anyone can feel abundant when their bank account is full, but can you feel rich when there is nothing but emptiness staring back at you? Can you persist in the assumption of wealth when the world shows you struggle? That is the power, that is the mastery. You must understand that the senses lie. They report only what was, not what is becoming. If you accept the outer world as final, you are bound to repeat it. But if you close your eyes and look within, if you dare to believe in what has not yet appeared, then you step into the creative position. You become the cause, no longer the effect. When you imagine wealth, when you feel yourself prosperous, successful, and secure, even in the face of contradiction, you are planting a new seed. And just like the seed buried in soil, you will not see immediate proof, but it is growing, the roots are forming, the new pattern is establishing itself. If you interrupt it by doubting, by reacting to appearances, you dig it up. But if you persist in belief, it must emerge. This is not denial, it is spiritual discipline. You are not pretending that problems don't exist. You are simply refusing to make them your truth. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the operant power, the one who gives meaning to everything you encounter, and you have the ability to accept or reject what the senses report. If you check your progress every 5 minutes, you delay the manifestation. You must walk in the assumption that it is already done. Feel it, breathe it, speak as if it were true, plan as if it were true. Refuse to let temporary lack shake your inner knowing. This is how reality bends. There is no power in the outer world except the power you give it. And when you ignore the evidence of your senses in favor of your inner vision, you are claiming your authority as a creator. You are saying, I decide what is true for me, not my current bank balance, not what others say, not the noise of circumstance. The world has no choice but to reflect the dominant state you dwell in. When you live as though you already have the thing desired, when your mood, your tone, your expectation match your goal, the world begins to shift. You do not know how, and you do not need to. You only need to remain faithful. Let the storm rage outside. Let the numbers look small. Let the bills come. You are unmoved because you know a deeper truth. Your faith reforms the future. Reality is fluid. It responds to conviction. And once you ignore the old, the new has space to arrive. So walk forward with confidence, not because of what you see, but because of what you know. The unseen is more real than the seen. And when you trust that, you become truly unstoppable. What separates those who succeed from those who give up is not talent, luck, or timing, it is persistence. The unwavering, stubborn loyalty to the unseen, the refusal to abandon a desire simply because it has not yet appeared. This is the secret known by the few. Persistence in assumption creates possession. You may imagine something wonderful once and feel excited, even inspired. But if you let that vision fade under the pressure of everyday life, it will wither. Imagination, like a seed, must be revisited, watered, nourished. You must return again and again to the assumption of already having what you desire. This is not repetition out of desperation, it is repetition out of conviction. Each time you assume the end, you impress it deeper upon the subconscious, where all creation begins. The world does not yield to a faint wish. It bends only to the one who remains, regardless of appearances. There will be moments when nothing seems to happen, when doubt whispers, and when outer circumstances appear unchanged. But this is the precise moment where most people give up, just before the shift occurs. You must not be one of them. Persistence is the bridge, the invisible passage between the idea and its expression. It is not dramatic, it is often quiet, but it is powerful beyond measure. It is the discipline to feel rich when the world says poor, to feel loved when the world says lonely, to feel chosen when others reject you. It is a silent rebellion against what was, and an inner devotion to what is becoming. You may say, but I've imagined many things that haven't come true. And I would ask, did you persist? Or did you flirt with the vision for a few days and then surrender to the evidence of your senses? Most people give their attention to the vision like a candle in the wind, easily blown out. But true creation demands a steadiness, a loyalty to the unseen so deep that the world has no choice but to mirror it. Do not measure progress by what your eyes can see. Measure it by the clarity of your assumption. How often do you return to it? How real does it feel? How naturally do you speak, think, and act from that end? This is where the work lies, not in the outer hustle, but in the quiet, repeated inner alignment. Even when nothing appears to change, everything is changing. The world is rearranging itself to match your dominant inner state. But it takes persistence to hold to that state long enough for it to harden into fact. The moment you give up, you delay the manifestation, not because it was impossible, but because you stepped out of the state that would have drawn it to you. Those who master persistence are not swayed by appearances. They know that creation is finished, that the assumption of the wish fulfilled already contains the path to its expression. They understand that the only work is to remain in that state, to live from it, breathe from it, speak from it, until it becomes natural. Repetition is not dull, it is sacred. Each time you assume, you build the bridge. Each time you persist, you cross it. And one day, without struggle or surprise, you arrive. Not because you forced the world to change, but because you changed. And the world, as it must, followed. Everything you desire already exists in the unseen. Wealth is not something you chase, it is something you awaken within. The secret is not effort, but awareness. You are not trying to become rich. You are remembering that you already are. The inner world is the only creative force. Imagination, belief, and persistence are the tools that shape your destiny. Assume the state, feel the in, ignore appearances, stay loyal to your desire, and above all, persist. Fortune is not granted to the one who wishes, but to the one who knows. The path to becoming a millionaire is not out there. It is within your mind, your feelings, your assumptions. Wealth begins the moment you accept it as your truth. Let the world catch up. Sincere thanks to the listener. Thank you for walking this journey within. May you now see that your wealth is not waiting, it is already yours. Stay faithful, stay still, and remember, you are the operant power.